Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, y'all. New day, another opportunity. I always say to make money in the market or to learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. I would say happy Friday, even though today is Thursday. Today is Thursday, but the market is closed tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and just say happy Thursday, right? So listen, so I am looking at the VIX. We have some information that's coming out at 8:30. I think the GDP data and the unemployment or initial jobless claims or something. We have some information coming out. Let's say that. So that's going to affect the market. And if you look at how the market is running or moving now, we know that it's at that it's not really moving up. It's not really moving down. We're kind of going sideways and trying to figure out which direction. So we are looking at the VIX, right? And the VIX is trying to break above this 50 EMA at 1301. Keep in mind, we did a video earlier this week and the VIX was right at 1368, right? So we could very well break through, and it looks like on this 30-minute chart, the 5 and the 50 is about to cross. And when it crosses to the upside in that direction, to me, that is a bullish move for the VIX, meaning this overall stocks will normally come down. Okay, my opinion, right? So the ATR trailing stop is at 1314, so that is our resistance at this point for the VIX, meaning it can come up and test this 1314 and get rejected and come back to the downside, right? Or it can continue on, through those levels to the 1331, which is the ATR trailing stop on the 1 hour, or the 1343 is right at the 200 EMA on the 1 hour chart. So if the VIX decides that it wants to go back to the upside, those are your levels to be careful of or to be mindful of. If we break through those levels of resistance, then the overall stocks could very well, or market could very well be headed in the downside direction, right? Let me go ahead and say that. So let's look at the SPY. And looking at the SPY, I've already marked the Gatherin spot because, as you can see, that's all it's been doing, just going sideways, right? This move yesterday did not surprise me. Let me go ahead and just say that did not surprise me based on the sideways movement that we had got, and then all of a sudden it just popped to the upside. What's interesting for me is SPY was at that 519, 520, 521 range. I'll say 520. And then all of a sudden it runs up to 523. So, the high of this candle is 523.20. So normally what I've noticed pattern wise, okay, is it running up because of what the information is about to come out tomorrow and we go down, or is it running up because it's making, we could very well continue to the upside? That is how I think it ran up, because something is about to come out to make it a little bit different. But again, we don't know that. Just the thinking part in me, right? You trade what you see, and I can't say that enough. Trade what you see, because the market can change at any given moment, and this is just one of those places where we see it was going sideways, going up just a little bit slightly, but this move here was definitely a very, very big breakout move, right? And looking at it on a 30-minute time frame, it looks a little bit longer like that. So, okay, our gathering spot today for the SPY is at 523.11. No, 523.10 is the high. The low is 522.68. So that is the range right now that the SPY is trading. 523.10 is the high, which is your resistance, and the 522.68 is this 522.66, let me rephrase that, is the support. So trade carefully. I mean, mark your levels if you trade the SPY. If you're looking at the SPY, mark your levels, set your alerts, and let you know if it breaks up or below those areas. Just keep in mind, we have information coming out, and that could very well change at any given moment, right? So pay attention to your charts, pay attention to your levels of support and or resistance, and always know where you're going to have trouble, right? So we know with the SPY, even if we come down to this 522.66, we're right here at the 522.75, which is another level of support. Right now it seems to be hanging with, the 5 EMA on the 30-minute chart is our resistance. So if we break above this 522.90, we could very well go back to that 523.10. So right now, this is our zone. This is where we're trading. Again, back to the downside, 522.23 is the 50 EMA, and then we have the ATR trailing stop at 521. 85. Those are levels to pay attention to. I would definitely keep a watch on those if you trade the SPY. I'm trying to see if I see anything else to the upside, and I do not as of now. Yeah, so again, y'all, based on what I see here on the daily chart, is this a green hammer on the daily, or a hanging man on the daily? Those are things that, is that a hanging man? Is that a hammer? Some people will call it one, some will call it the other. Again, trade what you see, right? So don't get so caught up in what it is and how it look, and trade what you see. Let me say that again, right? So we are going to Tesla. Tesla is Tesla. I say that all the time, y'all, because this is my go-to stock every day. And again, we have been moving. This is the 1 hour. I'm going to go to the 30-minute. We have been moving sideways. As you can see, this is our gathering spot, and it actually started around here this morning. Around here. This is our daily, where the day started at 4 o'clock pre-market. Tesla has been trading sideways today. And this is the zone that it's been trading in yesterday. And yeah, from the 24th on, and my concern is, with the news that's coming out with Tesla, it's kind of, we get some news, it run up, we get some news, it runs down, and it's kind of, in my thinking, it kind of puts me in a up and down type movement. But in trading, you're going to have to stay strategic, stay focused, and know that there's always somebody on the opposite end of your trade, right? So for the resistance for Tesla right now, based on this 30-minute chart, it's at the 180.53. Make sure 180.59. So Tesla is trading the high of 180.59, the low of 179.39. That is your zone. That is the gathering spot. And if you trade Tesla, I would set the alerts up or below those areas. And again, trade what you see, because anything is possible. I say that so often, y'all, because we get caught up in thinking that it's going to do this, and then it end up doing something else. But you have to pay attention to your charts and learn how to read your charts. That's very, very important. Pay attention to the patterns of, the candles and what they're showing you, right? So right now, Tesla is coming down on this 20 EMA, and the support is at 179.81. So that is what's really holding us up. As you can see, we tested it and we bounced here. Well, the 5 EMA is right there at it, which is at the 179.06 area. Yes, 179.96, I'm sorry. So 179.96 is kind of like the resistance right now, but the support is just right there at the 20 EMA. So those lines are very close to one another. Somebody's going to win in this situation, meaning Tesla's probably it could come back up and test this area again, which is at the 180.59, or we can break through this area and come back and find support at the 179.39. We don't know. Again, we're waiting on information to come out. So anything is possible, right? So keep in mind, Tesla did make a high of this week of 184, and we could very well come back and test that. So don't count that out. That's something to think about. Always remember your highs and your lows for the week, because we could very well come back and retest those areas. That's something to think about, right? So Tesla, the 50 EMA is right here at 179.22. So if we break this level here of 179.39, we can come down and find support at the 179.22, which is not far away from one another. That's something to think about. But I want to bring to your attention, yesterday Tesla almost filled a gap, right? And it's interesting that, y'all, it came all the way down. The high of this candle is 181.58. The low of this candle is 176.20. I had the gap fill at 175.24. It came almost to that place, because most people would have thought, Tesla's getting ready to fill the gap, because I was thinking the exact same thing. But look where it stopped here at the 176. Double bottom, only to go back to the upside. That's why I said the market can change at any given moment. What looks like could very well change, or what looked like could very well change, because yesterday I thought that it would have came down to fill this gap, but we did not. So Tesla did not fill the gap down to 175.24. I need to say that again. So is that a possibility today? It is. That is a possibility, or there's a possibility that it could go back and retest at 184. Trade what you see. Don't jump into your trades. Let your trades, your charts tell you what it's wanting to do, and pay attention to these gathering spots, or what most people would say the consolidation area. Those are very, very important, right? So let's go to NVIDIA and see where we are. NVIDIA is moving sideways, as yeah, just moving sideways. Pre-market, it seems like everything is waiting on that data to come out. So everything is just, this is our gathering spot for NVIDIA today. That's 4 o'clock. So, it seems like we're having trouble here at the 902.38 or 902.20 area right here, which really would be the 20 EMA, which is right here at 901.03, and we're under that level now. It seems like that candle is trying to open under the 5 EMA. So right now support, it looks to be dropping under support. It's at 88.99.17. So that's something to look at, right? You see the candle is moving now, and we're on a 30-minute chart. So the candle has not closed yet. It's important to wait on the candle to close. So I'm going to mark these levels here as our gathering spot for NVIDIA. And if it gets back in this range, so I'm going to say 902.20 as being the resistance and 896.33 as being the support. And if it breaks those levels, I would look to trade it in whatever direction it breaks past that place. You know, that's something to think about. Again, trade what you see, pay attention to where it's breaking out, how it's breaking out, you know, and it's easy to get distracted with, you know, it moved up a little bit here, but this is really where it gathered, honestly. This line here is where it gathered. We broke out of that place, which is really not, it came back. We broke out of this gathering spot. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. We broke out of this area here only to come up here to get rejected and come back down under the 5 EMA. So technically this 902.20, I would not necessarily use that. Let me take that off. I wouldn't use that because it broke out of a gathering spot, which would have been here. So 898.51 is what I would use. Let me say that again. I'm an overthinker. I know that. So I'm working on that, but it helps me a lot with it helps me a lot. It works for me. And that's what trading, you just have to do what works for you, right? So that 898.51 up to, you know, that possibility of 902. But right now, again, this is our gathering spot for NVIDIA. If it breaks those levels, that's where you do your breakout. That's where you trade, you know, trade based on what you see. And let's go to AMD. AMD is consolidating here again on a 30-minute chart. Everything is waiting on that information, right? So with AMD, it looks as if this is our 4 o'clock candle, 4:30 candle, 4 o'clock candle. We kind of consolidated here, meaning we just moved sideways here, breakout here. So, and then these are things that you have to look at when you're trying to identify your gathering spot, right? We're going up. So where did we actually just go sideways? And it's kind of like in this area here, but we're going to just mark the high of this candle at 179.46 and the low of this candle, which is where your support is with the moving averages, at 178.72. So right now for AMD, this is what I would use as a gathering spot. You try to look for candles that are kind of right beside each other, and was it, you know, did it really break out of that area and come back to that zone is what I try to look at. And sometimes, y'all, it's not a right or wrong with that. You know, you go in and you try to figure out, you know, at least give you a general idea that this is where it is. And again, anything could change. It could break out of that, it can break below that or above that, but you kind of have an idea of where it is right now. And right now, this is our zone. I would say 179.46 and then 178.73. I would watch those levels if I was trading AMD. And if I was to make those candles a little bit longer, you can see that that is the gathering spot right there. And how, I'm going to go ahead and mark one of those so that I can show you that, you know, you can see that this here is our gathering spot based on the blue lines that I'm putting here. Because this is the zone that we have traded in for the past few days. It's come here. So again, there's no right or wrong way. You try to get as close as you possibly can, but it's okay. Looking at AMD on the 5-minute chart, you're just not going to get a clear signal, it's not clear. So that's another thing. Make sure that whatever you mark, you're able to visually see it. That's why I go to the higher time frames, the 30-minute, the 1 hour. You know, those kind of give me a wider view of what I'm looking at or what I'm seeing. Yeah, so today is going to be an interesting day, y'all. I said just trade what you see. And going back to the SPY and seeing where we are with the SPY. We're still in the gathering spot. Everybody's still waiting on that information, right? And with Tesla, it wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla come back down. It's just my opinion. Again, it would not surprise me at all to see Tesla come back down to actually fill that gap to the downside and find support here at this 175.80. So y'all, again, trade what you see. I do this pre-market just to see, give an idea as to what we're looking at. And again, anything is possible. I say that often. And pay attention to what your charts are telling you. And if you don't know how to read the charts, just try to break it down section at a time. It can get overwhelming, but it is, you can do it. It's just learning to identify what you're looking at, or know what you're looking at, or know what you're looking for. So yeah, I hope this video is very, very helpful, y'all. Again, I like to make trading fun. I like to make it fun because I'm looking at charts all day long, right? And I like to explain what I see when I look at the charts. So again, thank you so much for watching today. I hope that everyone have an awesome day today. And y'all know I always like to leave you with this, right? Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.